Hey, who you gonna call it? Ain't no cheat. Hey, the MOE. MOE. Get us. Yeah, get us. Bitch. Get us. Get us. Welcome back to the 290 Mo podcast. I'm Mo. Thank you for listening. Before we get into today's episode, just a little bit of house cleaning to get into. Wherever you may be listening, wherever you may be watching, the 290 Mo podcast is also available on hiddencityradio.net. That's hiddencityradio.net. You can catch the 290 Mo podcast every Monday and Friday on hiddencityradio.net. Now, you may be asking yourself, what's the difference between watching 290 Mo on YouTube or listening to 290 Mo on Spotify than listening to 290 Mo on Hidden City Radio? Well, if you really fuck with 290 Mo and you ahead of the game, you caught up on every episode, if you want to hear new episodes before they drop anywhere else, the only place to get that is hiddencityradio.net. If you want to catch brand new episodes of the 290 Mo podcast before they drop on any other platform, before they drop anywhere else, you must go to hiddencityradio.net right now. Go to the show's page and bookmark it. You can catch the 290 Mo podcast every Monday and Friday. And it's also a host of talented DJs on there, a few other podcasters on there. They specialize in indie music, man, all day radio. If that's something that you went to, hiddencityradio.net. Also, and it's kind of segueing into the topic for today, fashion automatics. Fashion automatics is Salo Hommie most presents newly produced podcast. It's a fashion podcast hosted by fashion designer LA Bills. Fashion automatics, the first Salo Hommie Mo presents produced podcast. It's a fashion podcast hosted by LA Bills. You know what I'm saying? The last episode was a Grammy recap, and the first episode was a what was the first episode? Was a Super Bowl halftime performance recap. You know what I'm saying? And he got some dope interviews coming up next for episode 3. So if fashion is something that you're into, if trending fashion is something that you into, celebrity fashion, local fashion, he got a couple local clothing designers coming in, upcoming for interviews and in-depth recaps. So if that's something that you into, go on Apple Podcasts, go on YouTube, go on Spotify, and put in Fashion Automatics. So you can catch Fashion Automatics every other Monday at 12 p.m. noon. That's Fashion Automatics, hosted by LA Bills, every other Monday at 12 p.m. noon on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. All right, last piece of housekeeping. Wherever you may be listening to the 290 Mo podcast, please do me a huge favor. And it's the only thing that I ever ask you all for. This is the only thing that I ever will ask you all for. You feel me? I don't need no donations. I don't need no cash app, none of that. All I ask y'all to do is wherever you may be listening, wherever you may be watching the 290 Mo podcast right now, whatever you're doing right now, just stop. It's 100% free. You don't have to pay nothing. All I need you to do is like and subscribe wherever you may be watching. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, leave 5 stars in the review. All right, that ain't too much to ask. If you're on YouTube, press subscribe, hit the bell icon so that you're notified every time I drop new content. If you're on Apple Podcasts, leave 5 stars in a comment and a rate. You know what I'm saying? Just let the people know how you feel about me. Get your boy up in the algorithm so I can be, moving on up. You know what I'm saying? To the east side. No, not the east side. You know what I'm saying? Out west 290. But you know what the fuck. You smell what I'm stepping in. You know what I'm saying? So, quick recap. Wherever you may be listening to the 290 Mo podcast right now, I got a something that's free, something that's good for you, something that's good for everybody. Please hit like, share, subscribe. I didn't got ahead of myself. Talking about like, share, subscribe. Please like and subscribe wherever you may be listening to the 290 Mo podcast. If you're on Apple Podcasts right now, give your boy 5 stars and leave a couple good words for your boy. If you're on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell icon so that you're notified every time I drop new content. All right. So, without all that out the way, let's get into what we here for today. All right. And what we here for today is I wanna produce your podcast. I want to produce your podcast and I want to distribute your podcast on all the major platforms and get your voice heard by people that need to hear it. You know what I'm saying? Because you got a voice, you got a message, you got a plan, you got an idea, you got some inspiration, you know what I'm saying? You got some food for thought, you know what I'm saying? You got some kind words that somebody needs to hear, you know what I'm saying? And what I want to do is I want to create a platform, you know what I'm saying, for that creativity, for that art, you know what I'm saying, to be displayed, you know what I'm saying? Because one of the main reasons that my platform is set up the way it is, along with the podcast, one of the reasons it's set up the way it is because I wanted to create an outlet, a lane for my people, because I'm surrounded by talented people all day, you know what I'm saying? Like I see one of my homies will make a 30-second, you know what I'm saying, inspirational quote for the week, you know what I'm saying? And it's dope. It's dope shit that I feel like people need to hear, you know what I'm saying, that needs to be on Spotify, that needs to be on the YouTube to be accessible to millions of people, because it's good shit, you know what I'm saying? I'm in Chicago right now, so it's easy to get caught up in them bullshit, you know what I'm saying? It's easy and it's a reality, but you know what I'm saying, the bullshit is highlighted more than, you know what I'm saying, all these business owners that I know, all these creators that I know, all these artists that I know, all these entrepreneurs that I know. All that shit is you know what I'm saying, for the most part is put on the back burner for bullshit. So I created my platform to bring in people who was doing anything with their time, you know what I'm saying, that wasn't nothing. You know what I'm saying? I want to highlight everybody. Anybody with an idea, anybody with a plan, you know what I'm saying? Anybody that was doing something. If you was picking up garbage on a Saturday, I want to know what motivates you to pick the garbage up. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody has a voice. And another reason why my podcast was created is because I'm not finna argue and go back and forth with nobody, but I started to realize that people did take value in my opinion, that people did want to know, you know what I'm saying, what I thought about certain situations, you know what I'm saying? And so instead of me, you know what I'm saying, making a status on Facebook or getting under somebody else's status and going back and forth or arguing, you know what I'm saying, I decided to create a platform where we can just have safe discussions in a safe environment and have conversations like adults, you know what I'm saying? And I have conversations with children too, you know what I'm saying? But just constructive conversations, you know what I'm saying, in a safe space, you know what I'm saying, so people can get comfortable and get their point across, and also get their point across to a wider audience. So what do I mean when I say I want to produce your podcast? You may be listening to this right now and you might know that you want to make a podcast, but you don't know what I mean when I say I want to produce and I want to distribute your podcast 100% free. The only thing, and this I don't even like saying the only thing, I gotta find a different way to implement it, but the only caveat, and not even a caveat, what's to it is your podcast will be produced under my production company. It will be Salo Hommie Presents, Woo Up the Bop, hosted by Woo Woo Woo. You know what I'm saying? So it'll be 100%. I won't own your podcast. I won't own the rights to your podcast. I won't own nothing. I won't own nothing to your podcast. My only responsibility to your podcast will be producing and distributing it. And as far as producing goes, for certain situations that we're gonna get into a little bit later, the production could be all up to you. You know what I'm saying? Depending on what type of tier podcaster you already are. You know what I'm saying? So, for instance, if you're already, you know what I'm saying, recording your podcast, recording audio of your podcast, and you're uploading it onto a site, but you're not happy with with the views that you're getting. You're not happy with the response you're getting. Or like say you're uploading your podcast on YouTube and you're not happy with the views you're getting, the audience you're not getting. What we will do is, once you get done recording and making your podcast like you normally do, you will send me your podcast with your cover art, and then it will be my responsibility to distribute it and have it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, and etc. So that's for my people who may already got one foot in the game, you know what I'm saying? So for the people who may be listening who just like, man, I just want to talk, I just want to have a podcast, but I don't got no background information on production, on recording, on none of that, whoop the bop. So for those people, and it's a few people that I'm finna start, you know what I'm saying, snatching up like I'm an agent, because I see them doing their thing, you know what I'm saying, as far as the regular social media go, like them posting on their page and stuff, and they good content and good feedback. So I'm gonna start reaching out to people as well. But for the people who may not already got their foot in the game, but they know they want to talk, they know they want a show, they know they want a podcast, they know they want to, you know what I'm saying, present themselves to the world, you know what I'm saying, they know they got some type of art that they want to, you know what I'm saying, present. So in that situation, what we would do is we would meet once a week and we will record your podcast on audio. We record it on video. If it's just audio, we record just audio. If it's video, we record video. And you record your podcast. I will record it, produce it, background music, cover art, all that, and then we're gonna put it up on all the platforms. And the platforms being Apple Podcasts, YouTube, and Spotify, the top 3 major platforms available for podcasting right now, and a few others that's in the works as well. So, quick recap. If you're already a podcaster, if you already got an online TV show going on, and you don't feel like you're getting the type of views or the type of promotion that you need, come over to Salo Hommie Mo Presents. Let me produce your podcast. Let me produce your show, and I guarantee you to get you more exposure, more views, and get you to where you want to be. And also for the people with no experience at all, but just know they want a podcast, just know they want a TV show. And you also got to be willing to work, you know what I'm saying? It ain't going to be no handouts, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to be working harder on your work than you work on your projects, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm literally just producing it, you know what I'm saying? If I'm over interested, I might, you know what I'm saying, give you some tidbits, nothing like that, but I'm strictly basically to keep it basic, to keep it as most lamest terms. All I'm doing is recording it and putting it online. That's all I'm doing. Everything else is gonna be up to you. If I find myself doing more work for your podcast or your show than you're doing, then you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. Hey, Mello got cut. You know what I'm saying. So that don't waste my time. Don't waste my time. I won't waste your time. You know what I'm saying. I won't drop you for the label. So basically, just to do a little recap, if I already said that, I apologize. But basically, to keep putting it in layman's terms again, I'm looking for podcasters to put under the Salo Mo Presents umbrella. I'm looking for podcasters to sign exclusively for Salo Hommie Mo Presents, for the ones who probably already don't have their podcast but know they want to get started. You know what I'm saying? I'm also going to be reaching out to some free agents as well to get them to maybe light that fire up under them, cause I see it is smoldering up in them, so I might have to get up on them and light that fire and get them to work. So, just for example, we got the first one up and running, episode 3. We're on episode 2 now, but episode 3 and 4 is already, and we work. So you know what I'm saying. So for example, my first podcast that I produce under the Salo Hommie Mo Presents umbrella is titled Fashion Automatics, hosted by LA Bills. Fashion Automatics is a fashion podcast with fashion reviews, all type of insights, interviews, but it's a fashion podcast. Guys, if you listen to 290 Mo podcast, Fashion Automatics ain't got shit to do with 290 Mo. I'm sure. Oh, if you know me, you know 290 more ain't got shit to do with fashion on shorty. So basically, you know what I'm saying? Even though it's produced by Salo, Hommie Mo Presents, even though it's in the family, is nothing. If you're expecting to go to Fashion Automatic or any other podcast for that's gonna be produced by me, it won't be. You're not gonna go there to hear me. So don't click on. You're not going any podcast. It's strictly your shit. You know what I'm saying? It ain't got nothing. I'm not gonna be on there asking you questions about the on sure like P Diddy in the back dancing in all your videos. Nah, this is your shit. I'm strictly recording and bringing it to life. So before I get up out of here, you listening to this podcast right now. You listening to this podcast right now, and you got that idea in your head, like, man, I always wanted to make a podcast, man. I always had an idea for a show, for one day out the week, for one day every other week. You can bring that, you can make that a reality, and I want to help you make that reality. So, Salo Hommie Mo Presents will now be producing podcasts and looking for podcasters to bring under an umbrella with their own swag, their own podcast, their own TV show. Lastly, is a thing that I didn't touch on, but I want to touch on real quick. And I'm looking for diversity as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, it got to be that diversity. Like, that's the thing I like about when I first got to pitch the Fashion Automatics idea, because is diversity. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be able to get the 290 Mo, he talking his shit. You know what I'm saying? You got LA Bills with the fashion. You got Woo Out the Bop with the woo woo woo. You know what I'm saying? So so if you been having this idea in your head, you been writing in your notebooks, you know what I'm saying? I'm finna start a podcast, I'm finna start a YouTube channel. Stop playing. Get with me, and we gonna bring that shit to life, man. So before I get up out of here, man, don't forget you can catch Fashion Automatics, produced by Salo Hommie Mo Presents, hosted by LA Bills, every other Monday on all major platforms at 12 p.m. noon. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the 290 Mo podcast on all major platforms or wherever you listen to podcasts, and catch exclusive episodes only on Hidden City Radio every Monday and Friday at 1:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, in a minute, gang.